Hello! Hello and welcome to the Foundation's Gauntlet tier list. Let's get started. First up, we have Draven Jinx Discard Aggro, free concept. This deck has been playable since Jinx came out. It's easy to say the high roll potential is insane. If you get to flip Jinx, it's just a free decimate. It is one of the highest win rate decks and is the most played archetype in the format. Andy, what do you think?
If you're into narcissistic dudes and crazy chicks, this is the deck for you.
Well said, Andy. Next up, we have Spooky Anivia. This win rate is insane. It's the second most played archetype in the format. It's just Shadow Wild's control, and Anivia's just a consistent finisher. You just can't deal with her, you know?
Feel the rush budget version. Also, to all the people who play this, nobody likes you.
Okay, next up we have Ash Noxus. Ash Katarina, the third most played deck in the format, and its win rate is pretty fire. It's really close to discard aggro. I think I would put this in the solid decks rating, because even though Ash Cat is solid, I don't think it's a free win. It feels fair. It's really strong, but you still gotta play the deck well. What brings Ash down is how it's somewhat favored into the top dogs, which is like discard aggro and Anivia.
Since all the frostbite buffs weren't enough, right had to make a Foundation's Gauntlet just to make your trash Ash deck viable. Congratulations.
True, Andy. Next up, we have Karina Control. This is what happens when Shadow Isles is the most dominant region in the game. All of the Karina versions running like, just Elise, just Heimer, Ezreal Heimer, are running both Elise and Heimer. They're all above a 60% win rate, and it's insane. It's just honestly, it's free gauntlet. It beats Draven, Jinx, it beats Ash, and you can just ban Anivia. It's probably winning into most decks because you just don't run out of removal. It's the ultimate control deck.
For sickos who like playing God, can you let us play the game? Please.
Next up, we have Zed Hecarim. Surprisingly, pretty horrible. It's sitting at a 40% win rate, which is apparently it's really horrible without the support cards such as the Moonlit Glenkeeper, the Foyer, and the card that summons two Dragonlings and gets a free attack off of them. The archetype sucks without all those support cards.
Somehow there's a Shadow Isles deck that sucks in Foundations.
Next up, we have Fiora Shen. I did not expect it to be this bad either. I'll put this in a want to have fun category still, because I'd understand why you'd want to play it. Like, Shen has not been meta for a long time, and it just seems good to play. Sadly, there's no concerted strike, moral support. There's just a lack of a lot of good Shen support cards in Foundations, so...
Even in Foundations, Shen isn't playable. Poor thing.
Next up, we have Karma PNZ, or perhaps Ezreal Karma. I thought this would be one of the strongest, but it makes sense because the Ezreal nerfs, kind of hurt the consistency of this archetype, but it's still really strong because, Karma. And Ionia and PNZ, it's not really bad. You can't go wrong with it, so I put it in solid decks.
Cancer.
Next up, we have Karma Lux, another Karma deck. Mix and match Karma with other regions. Close to a 58% win rate.
Cancer with laser surgery.
Next up, we have another Karma deck, Spooky Karma. Another solid Karma deck. I think I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Cancer after death.
Next up, we have Kinku Elusives. Pretty solid. Surprisingly not that good, but it's still solid. It's above a 50% win rate. I guess people are tripping with some Battle Fury lists, which is interesting.
Cancer, but you end games faster.
Next up, we have Nox, Shadow Owls, Darius, Elise, Aggro. It's below a 40% win rate. Poor aggro.
No, you cannot go monkey triple aggro in this gauntlet.
Next up, we have Elise, Callista, is it? Yeah, it's always Iceborne Spiders. Snowy is running Iceborne Legacy. Some versions are, I think most versions are running this just because, all of the Spiderlings summoning cards like Hapless, Elise, Crawling Sensation, Vile Feast, Brood Awakening. All of these Spiderling cards exist in Foundations. They all were released in Foundations, so it's no surprise that this baller deck is back with a huge win rate and finishers like Endure and Ledros. Pretty cool deck. I would suggest that you try it out. Some may consider it a free Gauntlet deck. I think it's a free Gauntlet deck because it's just pretty simple and also pretty fun to play. So it's like, it's simple, it's fun, and it's really strong. You can't really go wrong with it. I think it's free Gauntlet because Shadow Isles.
Spider Fetish Syndrome.
Next up, we have Callista Demacia. What is this? It's probably fresh Callista. Callista fresh. 55% win rate. Yeah, it's pretty solid, I would say, because Shadow Isles is just so good. It's just a really strong, solid Shadow Isles deck. I'd put in solid decks.
Monkey play Shadow Isles. Monkey strong.
Katarina Yasuo. My, how the mighty have fallen. I could still see why you'd want to play this. It's a fun deck. Sadly, if you want to play Yasuo, just play him right now, because without Windswept Hillock, the deck is just worse. Without a lot of like cards like Flock, the deck is just... I'm assuming it doesn't have Flock yet. It does not have Flock just yet, because Flock comes with Swain Package, which comes out in Rising Tides.
Throwback 2 times, when Yasuo was absolute garbage. Good times.
Next up, we have Monofiora. Nice try, boys. Nice try.
A Magalol.
Next up, we have a Fiora Garen Bannerman. Now, this Mono Demacia version, of course, is running Bannerman, but the catch here is it's running a lot of meh cards. Like, as you can see here, like you can see by this win rate, a lot of lists are like running, you know. The problem with these cards is like most of them have been nerfed, especially like Pursuit. A lot of them have been nerfed to the point where this like version is like pretty yikes. You know, War Chefs being 2/2, Warrant Duelist, people are like overestimating, but honestly it's horrible. It's a 2-mana 2/2. So like, why? You know, like, just why? Like, if you want to have fun, why not Fiora shit? Why are you playing this bullshit?
Boring.
Next up, we have the Better Bannerman. If you want to have fun, it's not even just fun. It's actually I guess I'd put it in want to have fun because it's not the most reliable archetype. It's not. It doesn't have a lot of player agency, but it's fun and it's not auto lose compared to this version. What version is this, you might ask? It's the Elites version. And people are look, people are running Elites cards and it's actually working better. Because Elites have just been buffed enough times where it's better than, the trippy. I don't know why this version has these cards. But like most versions are like running just Deny. It also splashes A1A for Deny. The Deny is important because you just get blown out by control decks without Deny. Deny answers a lot of the control stuff. Elites do be good.
Less boring, but still boring.
What is this even? Dawn and Dusk Jinx said. What am I looking at? Is this a starter deck? What is this horrifying thing I'm looking at? Next up is a Spooky Lux Fresh. Yeah, another solid mid-range deck abusing Shadow Isles cards. I would say free Gauntlet. It's easier than like Karma deck, so you have to survive until turn 10.
Spooky Lights Show.
Next up we have Braum Vladimir. I'm sorry, boys. It's just... Yikes.
How can your deck be this bad in Foundations?
Next up we have Spooky Ash. Ooh, Ash Fresh. Fresh Ash. Ash so fresh. 59.36% win rate. It's so high. It's almost 60. Imagine playing Jinx. And if you don't have a way to instantly flip her, she just dies to Ice Veil, Archer, Shatter. This also kills a Draven. Not to mention we have Black Spear. This kills a flip Jinx. Also Vengeances. And yeah, no, it's... Why is this deck so good? I don't know. I gotta put it up here. the numbers are way too high on this. This is probably the better Ash version for now. This is probably the better Ash deck in the format, even in like rank right now. It's probably better than Ash Noxus.
Spooky Ice Show.
Lastly, we have Ezreal Teemo. In Foundations, we do not have Hex Core Foundry just yet. I'd understand why you would want to play this though.
Demon Yordle and Demon Twink combo.
Ooh, that was a lot. There you go, that's my Foundations Gauntlet tier list. If I had missed any other deck, just let me know in the comments down below. Fiora Lux. Fiora? Why? Yeah, that's all, boys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you liked it, please hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't just yet. And I'll see you in the next one.
If you liked this video, click the like and subscribe button down below. If you didn't like and subscribe, I will find out where you live. I will find you, and I will end you. I will cherish watching you suffer. And if you somehow survive, I will haunt your dreams forever after. Subscribe or die. 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 Subscribe or die.